Who Put This On? Episode 23, where we watch The Tester, Season 3, Episodes 1 and 2. And I am the host, Chris Lorenz, and sitting to my right is...
Robert Kitts.
And sitting to my left is...
Harrison Hoffman.
I feel like we haven't been here in a month, guys. I feel like it's been a month.
I have this weird feeling from the last podcast, like there was a podcast, we weren't there. Does anyone else have some sort of weird feeling like that?
Yeah, there's some weird feeling about other people and rambling, and it was good.
It was good? All right, as long as it was good.
I enjoyed it.
It was good. It was good.
I enjoyed it. It was very fun.
For those of you who don't know, our last episode was The Bachelor, and we let some of our more enthusiastic friends take over for us for that particular show.
Some experts.
Some experts in the
Yeah, I
field
don't think we could have done that show much justice.
of bachelors.
So thanks to them for helping us out.
Yeah, shout out to them. Thanks. Yeah, so this show was real terrible. It's definitely on the bottom tier here, guys.
That's your catchphrase, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely shows I said weren't real terrible, but this one.
Okay, so there's no actual website that I could find for this show. They're kind of just on YouTube. But here is the description of the Twitter account for The Tester. PlayStation Network's first original content reality show. Gamers test their ability to compete for a job with Sony PlayStation.
Woo! Woo! Shout out to Eric for recommending this one.
That's right.
A lot of shout-outs this episode so far.
Which is the shout-out episode. Shout out to Will Smith for Independence Day. It was the bomb movie.
It's a great shout-out.
Shout out to Steve Harvey.
True. So, basically this show is... I mean, that description is pretty self-explanatory. I'm not exactly sure how they got picked, but there's kind of a bunch of gamer-looking people who were living in a house together, competing in challenges that are loosely related to games for a job. The title of the show would have you think that they're competing for the job of a video game tester, but in Season 3, they're actually competing for a job as an associate producer on God of War.
I don't know if that's what they actually said.
I think that's what they said.
They said that they were going to be working under Santa Monica Studios testing the part. I don't know. I don't think they ever said associate producer. I think that somebody else said that.
They definitely said associate producer at some point. So it's unclear is it an associate producer job or a tester job that they're trying to make sound better, or is it some sort of hybrid job? Or is it all made up because none of these people are actually getting a job? None of that's really clear.
Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt that one of these people will get a job. I don't know that they'll be kept on after the release cycle of this one game, but...
Well, I think they have that one game to prove themselves.
Yeah, that's, I guess that's the idea.
Is this going to be in the show Silicon Valley, where there's people who just their job is to hang out on the roof and barbecue all day?
Probably.
Be great.
Yeah, I mean, there's kind of very clearly folks who are on here just for sort of the entertainment value because they're ridiculous, stereotypical gamer kind of personalities. And then there's some people that you're okay, I could see them maybe doing that job.
There's some very big Sony fanboys on the show, all of them.
Well, I think that's probably the prerequisite. I bet that, they had to submit some kind of an audition tape to Sony. And one of the things they look for is enthusiasm for the PlayStation brand and products.
Yeah. There's Jay Tight?
Jay Tight.
He's a very big PlayStation fan. And he's always the first one out.
So I guess that when they shot the show, it was right before the PS Vita was going to come out.
Yeah.
So they come into their kind of house where they're going to be living, and there's just a bunch of Vitas around. People are losing their minds. They're just look at all these Vitas! And they're
so crazy, so cool!
Yeah.
It has dual analog sticks!
Yeah.
So crisp.
You can tell that there's some producer off to the side, feeding them specs of various Sony products to kind of just call out.
Oh, there's so much producers.
Yeah.
In fact, there's so many one-liners that I'm that's a producer wrote that.
Yo, the PS Vita is probably the most powerful gaming handheld of all time. Like someone on the show said that.
I like that it was arguably.
Arguably,
Like, they didn't
yeah.
go all out like it is. No, it's arguably.
Yeah.
Compared to what? An iPhone?
Yeah.
Like,
DS, a Nintendo DS, I guess. Yeah, it's the whole show is a giant Sony commercial,
Yeah.
and that's fine because they paid for the show, and that's all great. But
Well, I don't know.
I don't
Watching
know.
like a half-hour product placement is not really the greatest thing.
So I'm gonna go with real beef from the show. It's like the first 5 minutes of episode 1 was pretty cool, like entertaining, like them coming to the house and being themselves. And then the challenge was they had to do a job interview with a bunch of hissing cockroaches on their face in this box.
it was just kind of straight out of Fear Factor.
Yeah.
They didn't even really try. It was just straight out of Fear
No,
Factor.
it was definitely like Fear Factor, and they just it was just boring. Like, you can't have episode 1 about video games be a job interview that's just boring.
There were no video games played in the first episode at all.
Except when they were trying out the Vita.
Yeah, you mean arguably the most powerful handheld?
Arguably the most powerful handheld of all time.
30 seconds over clips, various clips of them maybe half playing.
A lot of B-roll in this. There's just a lot of just shots of people just games and things like that.
The other funny thing about the job interview is, I don't know if it was you, but me and Harrison definitely thought the job interview was the first test, and there was going to be a follow-up challenge that was actually
definitely
going
thought
to be what eliminated people. And it was no, the interview's done, you go home, and then that's the end of the show.
Well, it seemed like the host did a bad job of explaining how that was going to work. It said it was something like, if you do the best in this challenge, then you're going to be safe from elimination, and that leads me to believe that that's some sort of an immunity challenge, and then there's an elimination challenge later.
Yeah, same.
If you're sticking to the Survivor formula as
We've watched
will.
enough of these to know the lingo.
Yeah.
Well, also that person also on a PlayStation Vita.
Yeah, he did win a Vita, and he was pumped.
Which
Would you say that's a powerful handheld gaming device?
arguably
Arguably.
the most powerful?
Ah.
Yeah, we don't know though. We can argue about it.
So, I think that there's a lot to talk about here. I think that one of my favorite parts about this show is the judges. So when they kind of introduce the judges, they it's like, and here's someone you should all know. It's such and such senior game tester. No, he's senior release manager for whatever Sony PlayStation America
Quality assurance department.
It was
and
it was a senior QA.
Yeah, it was
manager.
It was a really obscure title, and sure, I guess everyone should know that person.
Well, I guess if this is the Tester 3,
I guess
This
if
is what
he's
I
been
was
a- if
assuming
he's
was
been a
that he was
judge.
the judge in the last.
It was a
Yeah.
little silly coming into it cold, though.
I
It
thought it
was-
was real silly.
it was really funny.
so the judges consist of this guy who I guess is kind of the constant judge in the show. Some woman who is a model who
Adrienne Curry.
who likes to play video games.
No, it was a gamer reality star
/ model.
/ model.
Yeah, who likes to play video games. Yeah,
What reality show was she on first?
I'm gonna go
The
with
Tester 2.
No, she was on Big Brother.
She was the first winner of America's Next Top Model.
Really,
That's what her Wikipedia page says.
really. Okay,
And then 5 years
She
later,
is-
she posed for Playboy.
okay.
She
There you
has
go.
fallen very far from that.
Yeah, now
I
she-
feel like the first winner of a really popular reality show, and then you're the tester judge.
She's in a web only, produced by PlayStation series.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm just
no.
like
She just
that's
pretend to
fallen.
care about what these tester people are doing.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
The judges are really stone faced this whole time. You can clearly see thought bubbles over their heads of I hate my life right now. I wish I was anywhere else in the world.
So here's the best part. So here's the best part about the judges. So there's these two who are kind of constant, and then they bring in someone who actually seems to be sort of a legit person at Sony. Who maybe they're a producer for like a big game or something like that, and you can tell that person thinks what they're doing is dumb as shit. They're just man, I can't believe my boss made me do this. This is an insane thing to be doing right now.
I better get this trip to Hawaii.
Yeah, that's right. Oh man.
I don't know. I feel like the first guy had a lot of fun with crazy interview questions.
Yeah, I mean, like, that would be fun.
Like, what was your most embarrassing moment? Like, who the fuck asked that question? Like, this is a terrible question in a job interview.
I don't know if you're on a reality show and you want someone to give dumb answers for TV. It sounds like a great question because that one person gave a real dumb answer.
There were definitely some quote unquote interview questions that would probably be borderline illegal if you actually asked them in an interview. Like, they asked this one guy if he still lived with his parents, and like, I don't think you're allowed to ask that kind of stuff.
Wait, this one guy, you underplayed that a little bit. Who was it?
Oh, you mean Ninjanomics?
Ninjanomics.
You can call him Ninja.
Yeah, that guy's amazing.
We should actually like go back. Like, Ninjanomics says to someone, "Hi, my name is Ninjanomics, but you can call me Ninja." And it's
one of the
ridiculous.
biddies. One of the biddies on the show.
Ninjanomics is crazy about the biddies.
I forget what term he used on the show, but I'm going to say that he said.
I think he
biddies.
said shorties.
Shorties.
Oh, yeah, he definitely said
that's it.
shorties. Like, oh, so many shorties in here.
I was like, I know it was like a slang term for, hot girls, and I just didn't know which one it was. So I would just defaulted to biddies, which is my default.
So in the second episode, Ninja is the captain of one of the teams, so that they essentially kind of have some set of challenges that they have to have two teams for, whatever. And like, Ninja is the captain of one of these teams, and his like, the way he explains his methodology for picking his team is like amazing. He's like, yeah, it's like a chess game, like, I'm taking stuff from over here, I'm making moves over here, and like, he's like explaining this, like, it's this deep thing he's doing, and it's essentially like picking like a kickball team on the schoolyard sort of situation.
Yeah, pick all the guys first.
Yeah. yeah.
And the other person pretty much pick all the girls first.
Like,
I like one of his theory was you got to pick the tall guy because what if you need to reach for something?
But that was great. But like, picking someone who is like physically like capable actually ended up panning out for him because there was something that actually involved like some physicality, like towards the end of it.
So
right?
you mock his strategy. He was going deep on you.
Hey, Ninjanomics. Like, I'm not saying that guy doesn't have it going on. Like,
all right, before we move on to the second episode, we need to talk about how they're going to kick two people off, but then only ended up kicking one person off.
it's great how they kind of had this like the judges had like this half-second discussion about like should we keep him on too, and like that was just the plan. Like,
yeah, but he did end up having to sleep on the couch, so I don't think that was the original plan.
Wait, Chris, you're the one saying that a scenario that played out was not totally planned that way by the producers. You bought
I don't
that
think
was legit.
that was. I think that was after all the interviews. They were like, "Well, this boring ass bitch can leave?" And then like, we don't really have anyone else to kick off because we just don't have enough time to show. I don't know.
Well, I think like Ego Raptor was that guy. We should. So, by the way, we don't know any of these people's real names. They're all just referred to by their like PlayStation handles or whatever it is.
Yeah, I just that was just a boring challenge. That how do you kick people off of? Like, I guess they
Well, this
could
is the
have,
thing.
but I don't know.
I think they wanted to kick Ego Raptor off because Ego Raptor's like, I'm not here to care about like being a good employee. I'm just trying to promote my YouTube channel brand. But his YouTube channel brand had him win some like pre-show contests. They didn't want to kick him off the first episode.
yeah, so like
I mean, I don't.
the way that he got on, and this is different from how everyone else got on, is there was some kind of popular like voting contest online, and he won the most votes, so he got on. But everyone else got on through some audition thing or something.
Well, why don't they just kick somebody else off? Why do they need to be like, well, we were gonna kick you off, but we didn't want to ruin, like, upset the audience of the show that we're trying to reach?
Because that guy was acting cocky as shit, and they wanted to humble him a little bit on camera, right?
And then force him to sleep on the couch. Like,
Yeah.
So you're saying they set up this challenge, and they're like, all right, so we're gonna kick off 2, we're only gonna kick off 1, and the other person is gonna have to sleep on the couch.
It's yeah,
Like that's. I
It's
don't
like-
think they like come up like, before this even starts and say that's what's gonna happen.
You're not giving these people enough credit, Chris.
I don't like. I just think it was like they like saw their footage
I-
and they like talked about it and were like, "Well, let's humble the guy, make him sleep on the couch instead of kicking him off."
I'm stunned that Chris is the one saying no. This actually happened legit. This wasn't fake.
Yeah.
like
I just don't know
I feel
how-
like I'm in a
Do you
Twilight
think,
Zone
like,
episode or something.
Do you think that this show is so poorly produced that things are not as well planned as regular reality shows? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, this isn't a top hooker or anything.
not top hooker. It was also kind of it was funny that in some of the interview questions they were totally just like loaded for the people who are actually in it.
That was
so,
definitely
there was kind of earlier in the episode it kind of came out that this Eagle Raptor guy only had 14 PlayStation trophies and he's not a real gamer. He only has 14 trophies. And then during the interview, one of the people asked him, like, so how many PlayStation trophies do you have? And he's like, 14.
Well, and then he had to explain why he only had 14, or he attempted.
What was his explanation for only having 14?
He plays a lot with friends.
That's right.
Like the model who was on there asked him if he even owned a PlayStation, and I was like, sick burn. Like,
I didn't hear you say that though.
well, it was in my head when
Okay. I just
At the
want to
time.
clarify for the audience that no one else heard you say that.
I said it right now.
Yeah, I heard him right now. What do you mean?
All right, so in the second episode of the show, they actually played a video game after they picked teams.
Twisted Metal.
The new Twisted Metal that I don't remember at all.
It's probably not new anymore.
Or the latest Twisted Metal, I guess, would probably be better.
The most recently released Twisted Metal.
Yeah, and then the person that won that didn't have to take on an extra person for the next challenge. And then the next
Well, I guess you'd say that. So there's because they didn't kick 2 people off. There's 11 people, and they want to go into 2 teams. So they picked 2 teams of 5, and someone was like schoolyard picked, not picked at all. And they're like, whoever loses the video game challenge gets that person on their team. Just having an extra person is going to be a disadvantage.
Yeah, that was weird. Like, terrible bully or, like, schoolyard picking. Like, you didn't get picked at all, so you can't play.
It's like, we're going to make you feel
They're
bad.
going to make you feel real bad. You're the only one not picked. And then the next challenge, they had to build, like, they had, like, a cart that they had to attach, like, fake car pieces to make it like a tiny car, and they had to use all their nuts and bolts, and then they had to drag the cart while shooting at targets, and the first one to cross the finish line won.
Yeah, and clearly based on this challenge, they'll be able to evaluate whether or not you're going to be a good PlayStation employee, right?
Yeah, definitely.
That's why you have the senior QA manager, whoever that guy is.
Oh, man.
Do you think that if you won that would be like your direct boss, or like he's just like 8 above the chain and like you'll never see that guy again?
The guy who's that senior QA manager,
Yeah.
who's like 27, that guy?
Yeah.
I doubt that he's that person's boss, whoever wins this.
Do you think that guy is actually an actor and is not a quality assurance
It's
manager?
possible. It's possible. He isn't good enough at acting for him to be an actor.
He does not seem good at acting. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think he actually is like he's a senior QA manager / actor.
Actually, let's like, what if that guy was your boss? Like, not that you won a reality show. It's just like you're actually like, some sort of video game employee. This guy's your boss, but he's like, wait, I got to go away for 2 weeks. I got to go film this reality show.
That'd be fun. That sounds like fun.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
You wouldn't like watch the show and be like, oh, I can't believe my boss is doing this. This is terrible.
Yeah, I think that. And ask him a bunch of questions later. How fake was this shit? Because
Would you be like, how come you didn't ask me that question in my interview?
Why didn't you ask me what my most embarrassing moment ever was in my actual job interview?
You didn't ask me if I lived with my mom.
like you just bust his balls. Like I would actually be upset because then I'd have to actually watch this show. Like I would actually like have to like sit here and like watch it. Which I'm kind of upset that we watched 2 episodes, to be honest.
It's all like it's also really interesting that the big prize and the whole premise of this show is that if you win this, you do this crazy thing, you'll get to be a video game tester. And it's like, I don't think that people realize how boring of a job video game tester is. And like, it sounds like I get to play video games all day, but it's actually
It's a terrible job.
not a great job. You know,
You play the same video game, the same level for months.
And it's like, playing is a loose word. It's like, you walk around looking for broken textures and all like stuff like that.
Go
It's like,
run into every wall and see if you
Yeah.
accidentally go through the wall or something.
Yeah, it's not
it's not
a great
fun.
job. But like these people are stoked to get that job.
But maybe there'll be an associate producer instead.
That's true. So with like a production type job on the table, I feel like it makes it a little bit more interesting.
What do you think this associate producer does? Like for this,
Like what does an associate producer do for a game
All right,
in
let's
general?
go with-
Or
both a regular associate producer and then this special tester winner associate producer.
So I saw a movie once, and this was not associate producer for a video game. This was talking about being an associate producer on a movie. Someone says, "Okay, what is an associate producer?" And the person says, "That's what you give your secretary instead of a raise." So it's like it's not a real thing. It's like a made-up thing to make someone sound important when just for no reason.
It's the person that gets coffee in the morning.
Yeah,
That's what I figured.
well, I mean, like, on a set, that's the production assistant is the
Is the coffee getter?
coffee person. Yeah.
So
All
what
the
does the
shit work.
associate producer do?
They assist the actual producer
In getting them coffee.
maybe yeah.
assistant to the traveling secretary.
The job of like the job of producer where those movies or like games, is kind of like coordinating the entire project and sort of having the vision for it and like bringing the entire thing together and all the right people, and like I guess that's a really big job for one person. So I would assume that an associate producer has a more narrowly scoped set of that stuff. So like maybe the associate producer just works with like the level designers to make sure that like all that stuff is good, or like that's what I would assume. I don't know.
So that's a normal associate
I've
producer.
never worked on a game.
So what would you assume a tester winner associate producer would do?
I think you do PR for the Tester TV show and get paid some money and then be told to go away.
Like I bet that you get to be in some meetings where you can kind of give some early input on the game, things like that. But I feel like in terms of real responsibility, also I think it really depends on who comes out of this thing as the winner. Like there are some people in the show that are more capable than others potentially at that job.
J-Tight?
I'm just assuming
J-Tight, yeah.
I'm just
exactly.
assuming J-Tight's the winner. I'm not going to watch. I'm just going to live my life knowing J-Tight was the winner.
J-Tight?
Yeah, J-Tight could be good.
So
He was
if
not.
J-Tight worked for you, what would you do?
I would be pumped if J-Tight worked for me. I mean, he seems like a really enthusiastic, like cool dude.
He's real enthusiastic.
Yeah.
I feel like Ninja. How would you feel if Ninja worked for you?
I feel like Ninja gets fired for sexual harassment in like under a
Immediately.
month. You can't go into a place and talk about how great all the shorties are and
Yeah,
and
but
keep
that
your job very
was
long.
that in like one of the booths, or was that him just out in the open saying something about shorties?
I don't know. Maybe
I feel like it was in a booth and it was like
It was an
overlay.
interview thing. It wasn't in like the open.
Yeah, he didn't actually
But-
call anyone a shorty
I mean,
to their face.
so two things in that guy. Like one, I feel like that guy. It seems like that guy might have some hidden skills. Like it might take like a little bit to figure out like what I want him to work on, but it seems like that guy could have some hidden skills. And just in general, like hanging out with that guy, just hearing him say things like would make the work week really nice.
Would you make him your associate, like guy that just like hangs around, like takes notes for you and
Yeah,
your
I mean,
secretary?
if you could take notes and things, yeah, that'd be interesting, right?
just like your number two, like just giving some commentary?
Maybe not the guy I would say like, hey, go represent me in this meeting, but
You just need him around for color commentary.
yeah, exactly.
I feel like that was that one guy that knew like all of the PlayStation, like all the people that worked at PlayStation.
Yeah, the guy who won every challenge, that guy.
Yeah, I mean,
what was
could be
his fake
associate
name
producer.
again?
I have no idea,
It was like something.
Something Pales.
but like,
Yeah, I knew it was something P, but I didn't.
like at the very least, it seems like that guy follows the industry a bit more closely than just video games are cool and I like playing them. So,
Yeah, that's true. He like definitely knows like the names of like game producers, which I don't know if that helps you be a tester, but maybe an associate producer that's like a good sign.
I guess it shows that he's paying close attention to the industry.
To be fair, like the things he asked were like, what are the studios and what are the games they're known for? So like that's not like real in-depth knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, like he knew the names of the producers too. I guess like that's something. I guess he watched the credits of some games.
He's beaten the games and saw the credits and remembered.
Yeah, I probably couldn't name a ton of game producers. I don't know. Could you?
Just like the big ones, mostly from Japan. Like,
Sure. Yeah. I
That's
mean, like
right.
some like the Nintendo guys. Like yeah.
And
So
people, Hideo Kojima, like he's been in the news recently.
yeah. Is it which game is he?
Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, like he's quitting, right? Like he just said he's quitting. Something.
We're not really. They didn't really say if he's quitting or if he's leaving because he won't force him to leave because he doesn't want to do Metal Gear anymore.
He's been doing Metal Gear for a long time.
Like almost 20 years.
Yeah.
Like I don't think he's done much other than the Metal Gear games, so I'm sure that gets kind of old. 20
Yeah.
years.
I mean, even if you're super passionate about it, at some point you might want to do something different. And when they keep making you make Metal Gear games, right?
Yeah. I mean, you gotta make that money. It's all about the money.
Got to make that money.
Make it rain.
So, what else? Anything else about this show?
We didn't really talk about the last challenge, but I don't know.
Whatever.
'Cause-
No, we did. The car thing?
Yeah.
You talked about it for like 5 minutes.
I don't remember.
So we didn't really talk about how they decided who got eliminated. I don't know if we care.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Like, there were kind of 3 people who were up for elimination. There was one who is like the captain of the team who probably made a poor decision in who to put on the building project because one of the people they put on the building project was the person who didn't get picked on the playground. And she was a disaster, and somehow she's the one who didn't get eliminated.
She didn't get eliminated because she's entertaining.
We like her passion.
Yeah. They kept on saying passion. I'm like, okay, David Jaffe, do you want that girl working for you? Like,
There's
honestly.
no way that those panel judges picked who went home.
Yeah,
Like
probably
David
not.
Jaffe, like could give 2 shits who went home.
He looked so annoyed to be there. Like, he was just like, man, this is...
God, we get this over with.
Do I need to quit my job so I don't have to do anything like this ever again?
It's like, man, I gotta get back to work on Twisted Metal.
What other studios are hiring? Don't make me do this
Does
bullshit.
Microsoft have any dumb shows like this? Maybe I can go work for them.
Yeah, I don't think Microsoft has any dumb shows like this.
At
They have
least
other dumb shows.
Maybe, I don't know. Microsoft actually shut down their
they
production
probably
their
might have-
production studio in LA.
There probably
Oh, no.
would have been, but they shut that down because they're like, this is dumb as shit.
Did they produce anything, or did they just shut it
I
down?
think that they made that Halo stuff. They made that Halo series, maybe.
Well, they shut everything down but the Halo stuff.
yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know. All I can say is don't watch it. It's definitely on the bottom tier.
I got more bummed out as it went because I was really excited at the beginning because there are some great characters in this show.
Yeah. So we like while we were setting this up, we saw some of like the bonus footage, which was I think way more entertaining than the show.
I would love to just see like this show as like the real world with these people and like none of these terrible challenges and stuff. Just
they were
like
so bad.
just like this as the real world. Like I might watch that.
That would be infinitely more entertaining.
Like the fact that they're like the connection to video games is so thin, like kind of upsets me. It's like if you're gonna make a show for this audience and like what this thing is, you know, I don't think they want to see like shitty Survivor copy. Like they want to see like some video game stuff, you know?
But how entertaining would it really be just to watch people play video games on a reality show?
Yeah, I guess. But like, okay, make like, you know, Twisted Metal in real life, or like that Bud Light commercial where there's giant Pac-Man. Like,
Oh, that's
like,
a good
like you could
example,
do
yeah.
stuff like that. That's not like it's just this is Fear Factor.
What about like Twitch? Like people watch people play video games. Like
That is true. I do not do that, but
I'm
is
just
true.
saying, like
Yeah.
there's an audience for people watching video games, and there's an audience for like reality shows. Like they're like there's definitely a good segment that would watch that.
I mean, it's like if they want to, they can make this into like a legit competition. You know, you have this, you know, a combination of video game skills and like, you know, video game producer skills, and like you could design challenges around that, and they just didn't really.
Yeah, none of these have anything to do with being a QA tester or a producer of any sort.
How good are you at filing bug reports? You better be good at filing bug reports.
We're gonna put you in front of some bug reports. and you should
Yeah.
file a lot. of them.
How quick can you repro these 20 bugs? Go.
Yeah, like I probably wouldn't be that entertaining,
It wouldn't.
but I mean, if you're actually trying to figure out a good QA tester, I don't know. Maybe sit them in and like have them try to like set up a level, and then try to find their own bugs could be entertaining.
Yeah, like, have them come up with the concept for a game and pitch it to these producers. Have them design a level. Have them, like, just any number of video game related things you could do that's not like, I don't know, build a car that kind of looks like the Twisted Metal car
And then shoot Nerf guns.
and then shoot Nerf
The
guns.
thing is, like, I think a lot of those challenges would probably take more than like a day. Like, it would be difficult to tell somebody like, "Hey, go design this level." And,
Oh,
like,
yeah, it would take a little bit longer.
Well,
yeah.
the challenge can take more than a day, and they can edit it down.
No, but they're filming this for 10 days.
Yeah, the production costs, yeah.
and that's what they're doing.
But I mean, you could totally see like a quick fire challenge kind of thing with some video game design stuff. You could see that.
There's definitely better challenges they can do than what they did
It's like,
by
hey,
far.
like, hey, here's this game, here's the situation, like, design like a boss fight for here, like that kind of stuff would be cool. Like, that'd be interesting, right? And it's like, hey, team this person up with like an actual designer from the studio, and like they'll whip something up, like that kind of, like that'd be. I'd watch that show. Be a
Would
cool
you?
show.
Would you?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, the real disappointing part was the first episode. Nothing to do with gaming at all.
Yeah, it was terrible.
And like the last 20 minutes of that was just like more like the most boring, almost the most boring thing we've ever seen.
They combined Fear Factor and our favorite, The Celebrity Apprentice, into one show.
Like the end like part was like so long, and they like couldn't get to a point, and they didn't kick any. They only kicked one person off. It was almost Celebrity Apprentice bad, but it wasn't 40 minutes. It was only like 10.
I did really appreciate when you turned to me at some point during that building challenge, and you're like, this is literally Tool Academy, like just with different people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like
Yeah.
building that bed.
Yeah,
Somebody
Bill-
should have just threw one of those screws, like heaved it.
It was, oh man, like, so, like they're trying to fit all these bolts in the thing, and there's one that's clearly not fitting because it's too big for the hole, and that one girl's just banging on it with two hands with his hammer, just banging on it.
That was
Like,
great.
that's not how that works at all.
Yeah. They didn't really show, like, it was so incoherent, like, the clips they were showing for that. Because they had to do the reality show, like, oh my god, they've got to be close. And, like, they weren't.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they kind of gave up after a little while, but, like, it was bad. I don't know. We have anything else to say? What else?
I don't
Harrison,
know.
Are you going to watch every other episode of this show? I feel like 5 minutes in, you were all in.
I was all in. I'm less all in now. Like, I would maybe put it on in the background while I'm working. I don't know that I would actually give it my undivided attention.
So, yeah, obviously I'm not watching it, and I'm assuming Rob's not going to watch it. So there's no point. Where is this place? Where is this place in the rankings here?
It's definitely in the bottom third.
Like, this is definitely slightly above Celebrity Apprentice, but I don't know if this or Bully Beatdown is worse.
Yo.
Is this above or below The Bachelor for you?
We didn't watch. I didn't watch The Bachelor, so I don't know.
The presence of Ninjanomics in the show alone, like, boosts this thing up for me.
Yeah, you're right. It's definitely above Bully Beatdown for sure. Yeah, there's no
Absolutely.
there's no redeeming qualities of Bully Beatdown.
Like, it is above Real Housewives. It's above Bully Beatdown. It's above
Celebrity
Apprentice. Like, it's not bottom, and it's mostly Ninja that's bringing it up.
I don't know. I don't know if I can agree with that statement. Like,
Well, Ninja's
Really?
good, but I feel like you said, like the parts that are just the real world and they're not doing the challenges, they're not the elimination, are actually kind of fun because they're just ridiculous people doing ridiculous things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ninja is the most ridiculous, but they're all a little ridiculous.
Sure.
Every time I like kind of start watching these shows, I'm trying to figure out, all right, who's real, who's not. Like, how real are these people? And I think these people are pretty like what you see on the show is actually like how they actually are. And I'd watch that. Like, but watching them do dumb challenges that are like literally they're boring makes the show terrible.
Yeah, they definitely need some, do a video game relay race. Like, I don't know. Like, do something. Like, it's just the whole thing is, I don't know.
Yeah. So what else have you guys been watching? Anything?
Reality shows, or just TV in general.
I think we were just talk about whatever. I don't know.
I'm watching Archer. I'm a few episodes behind now.
Yeah, how's the new season? I haven't actually seen any of it yet.
I'm enjoying it. Like, I feel like Archer isn't as, because it's in like the 6th season now, so it's not as fresh as it used to be. But it's pretty funny.
I like it.
It's back in the spy agency setting. It's not Archer Vice anymore, right?
It's definitely not Archer Vice.
Yeah. It's better than Archer Vice.
Did they acknowledge that Archer Vice even happened, or did they just kind of hand wave it like and ignore it?
No, they acknowledge it
Yeah,
happened.
yeah.
Okay.
They mention Charlene.
They mentioned Charlene.
Charlene, yeah.
They mentioned cocaine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like the Christian Slater character from Archer Vice is still around.
Oh, really? That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The season's a lot of like Archer and Lana.
Though like they don't mention ISIS anymore. Which I was like
Obviously. Well, I mean, they should have made a joke out of it.
They should have made a joke out of it, but like even in the credits during Archer Vice, it still showed ISIS in the credits, and now it does not show ISIS in the credits. I think they're like, we want no part of this. So that acronym means something else now. We want no part of this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of CIA mentioning in this.
I think, living in the time of foreign governments threatening Hollywood people like
Kim Jong-un?
Like Kim Jong-un, like maybe not mention ISIS in this.
Yeah.
Although maybe they'd like the promotion. I don't know.
That's a good question.
I mean, I wish they would go more like season 1, where each episode like literally had nothing to do with the episode before it. Because I felt like some of those episodes are real fun because they did like ridiculous things that don't really happen too much anymore in the show.
They're definitely about the story arcs now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, I like a good through line on a series, but like I do super appreciate shows that like throughout the course of the episode they get to such a crazy place that it cannot be like remedied in a way that anything makes sense in that show's universe anymore, so it just resets for the next episode. Like I like that.
Like
Right.
Skytanic is my favorite.
Yeah, or
episode.
like
It's so good.
Aqua Teen, or like Mike Tyson Mysteries is kind of like that, and like there's like they get to an insane place, and it's just like, well, we're just gonna walk away from this now.
Well, yeah, we died. Next episode.
Yeah. Oh man, have you guys seen Mike Tyson Mysteries at all?
No.
I've not. I want to
Oh,
hear you
man.
talk a little bit more about this.
You guys have to see it. So it's this show on Adult Swim now, and like it's one of their kind of 15-minute sort of things, and it's like it's Scooby-Doo style animation, with kind of Mike Tyson and his like gang of mystery solvers, and like every episode they get like a new mystery, and they attempt to solve it, and they never solve it, and Mike Tyson punches a bunch of people. Like it's a great show.
That sounds amazing. Why didn't we watch that instead?
Yeah.
Why did we watch
Yeah.
this?
We might need to do a podcast on that. Show.
And Norm Macdonald plays a pigeon.
That's great.
Do you think it counts as a reality show or no?
Mike Tyson's in it, playing himself. So
There you
I don't
go.
know.
It sounds pretty reality to me.
Yeah, you should check that out. That's a pretty funny show.
Yeah.
It's one of those that just kind of auto plays on Netflix, and you can just like let it roll especially because they're 15-minute chunks.
Oh, it's on Netflix?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
on
man.
Netflix. Yeah.
Sounds great. I've been watching some Better Call Saul.
Oh, how's that?
It's way better than I expected it to be. Like, you're like, watch Breaking Bad, and you're like, oh man, this is leading up to this thing, and it's so good, and you're just like, you're really going to go like prequel? Like, how's that going to work? And it's really good. It's like really entertaining.
So does it like reference Breaking Bad stuff in it?
Not really. Like the first episode has Tuco in it.
Okay, yeah.
So like that sets off a chain reaction that like kind of like hasn't. It's kind of resolved, but kind of not resolved at this point. But Mike's in it, and he's pretty good.
Okay.
And, like you kind of find out like Mike's backstory and like I don't know. Did they mention that his name was Jimmy in the Breaking Bad?
I don't know.
Yeah. So like,
But-
his name is Jimmy McGill,
Okay.
and not really like Saul Goodman. So
Oh, really?
like
Okay.
it's like way before, like he's hanging out with his brother, and you're just trying to figure out, like he's just trying to be like a good lawyer,
Okay.
like trying to make money in the beginning. So like he's got nothing. He works like in the back of like a laundromat. Like he doesn't even have an office. Like barely has an office. So it's pretty interesting to see like how he gets to where he gets in Breaking Bad, but I don't know how long it's going to be that entertaining.
Right. So like you don't really need to have watched Breaking Bad to watch that show.
No, not
Yeah.
at all. There's like a scene in the beginning that doesn't make any sense, but never referenced ever.
Okay.
They show like the end of Breaking Bad, like him, like at the end of Breaking Bad, but then after that,
Interesting. Like are they able to make him look like sufficiently young enough because it's being shot after Breaking Bad and it's supposed to be before Breaking Bad? Like, is that
he
make any
looks
sense?
about the same.
Okay.
So, like, I don't think of him as significantly younger.
Right.
So,
okay.
like, I guess you gotta take some liberties there with yourself. Just don't think about it.
Is this the best prequel of all time?
What is it competing against?
You got your Star Wars prequels.
Nope.
They're not even in the
You
running.
got your Exorcist prequel.
I don't see that.
I heard that Temple of Doom is a prequel to Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Temple of Doom is technically a prequel.
Yeah.
No, that's definitely. I don't know. Well, it's only episodes in, so I don't know. It's definitely up there.
Funny thing about Temple of Doom is it used to be the not good Indiana Jones, and they made the fourth one, and now everyone's like, the first three are all great.
Yeah.
No.
But Temple of Doom is still not that good.
no,
It's definitely a little
1
questionable.
and 3 are good, and then 2, and then 4. But I also don't think 4 is that bad. Like, it's certainly not a great Indiana Jones movie, but it's entertaining and fun. So,
Like, I guess one of my big problems with that, there's whatever, a bunch of story issues and stuff, but like, Indiana Jones has always been about like real ass stunts, and like that movie is very much like not real ass stunts. There's a lot of CGI,
I didn't know Indiana Jones was about real ass stunts.
Yeah.
I felt it was about adventures and finding crazy artifacts.
But like one of the core things about that movie, about those movies, is that like the stunts are real, like they're real, and like I don't know, like that's.
I mean, that's one of the defining characteristics of the first 3. But,
Yeah, for sure. The
but
ones
I don't
that
think
matter.
that Indiana Jones itself like can live past like real stunts.
I don't know. It's like I feel like when I read about them making the fourth one, there's like are you like yeah, we're gonna do it like the first 3, and we're gonna do all real stunts, and it's gonna be awesome. And then it came out and it was like just not that. So
I mean,
I don't know.
you just didn't like the CG aliens? Is that
The aliens. There's just a bunch of stuff. There's just like I don't know.
so? CG aliens is no
CG
good, but
CG
like,
monkeys. There's
fake like
what are the bugs that like carry them around at some point?
Yeah.
they were giant ants. I think.
Giant
it's
ants,
like
right.
you go to like MGM Studios at Disney World and you watch that show and you're like, I can see how they did that for a movie and it's awesome, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I just think I agree with you. It's not great, but I think it's fun.
I feel like
it
it's
doesn't.
just the aliens just totally ruin it. Like it's just
How
you're just like, really? That's where
I
we're
f-
going with
I
this?
feel
Aw.
like that's the other movies are just as ridiculous.
Yeah, like they've always kind of dealt with supernatural kind of
But like,
stuff.
I feel like Supernatural and Alien are like two different things. And,
Sure.
like, Steven Spielberg and George Lucas have done plenty of Alien movies. We don't need more of that.
Speaking of Steven Spielberg, did you see that he's directing Ready Player One?
I did. I'm excited.
Yeah, that'll be super exciting.
That'll be a weird movie.
Yeah, that's gonna have to be a pretty big budget movie.
Are they going to get all the licenses they need, or is it just going to be totally like not the same?
I bet they're gonna have to get a bunch of them for that movie to make any sense.
I mean, how like which studio is doing it?
MGM is doing it.
So like, what kind of big movies does MGM have in the '80s? Like, you can
I
kind
don't
of
know.
probably steer the plot towards whatever MGM owns. to,
MGM
like-
owns James Bond and not much else.
There's,
So like, if they don't own a lot of '80s movies, yeah.
I mean, like there's a bunch of like 80s video game kind of stuff that they will definitely have to license for that. Like they're gonna have to work with Atari and like all those people.
Yeah,
for that
but
thing,
they
right?
don't like. You're not going to need a lot of money to get some of the licensing for that.
Yeah, I guess from Atari they're kind of hurting these days, but
Like,
yeah.
Who even owns the old Atari game like licenses? I know somebody owns the Atari name at this point, but are they also the same people that own the Atari licenses?
Yeah, I have no idea.
because like that thing's been like bankrupt like 18 times.
Like it's surprising that they're making that because I think that's going to have to be just based on what the content of that book is. That's going to have to be a pretty big budget movie if they do it right.
Yeah, I'm probably just going to stick with the audiobook because it's amazing, and I just don't see how it's going to work as a movie.
You're not going to even see the movie?
No, I'll see it, but
Yeah.
like, I just don't have any faith.
Spielberg, though, like
He doesn't make all great movies, though.
he doesn't, but like he's got a pretty good track record.
Well, what was the last great Spielberg movie?
He made Super 8, right? Is that
No,
Spielberg?
that was
No.
JJ.
That was JJ.
Really?
Abrams, yeah.
It was an homage to Spielberg,
Oh,
but it was not
fair. I
Spielberg.
guess it was kind of. There's a bunch of Spielberg kind of stuff in there.
I don't even know.
It
what
might
the last
be.
thing he did.
I'm going to bring up the IMDb. It might be Minority Report, which is more than 12 years old.
Is that the last? There's no way that the last thing he directed is Minority
No.
Report.
No,
and
no,
he's
he's saying
like,
last-
Oh,
what's
it's
the
a
last
good thing.
really good thing?
Oh,
he did?
sure.
Can we just find good? Like, use good, not really good. I mean, my report's
Just good.
really
You're,
good.
You're just
but,
going for good.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, we want this movie to be really good, and I think the source material is really good, but I don't think it's going to make a good movie. Like,
You know, it like I hope it doesn't kind of bum me out in the way that Ender's Game did. Because like Ender's Game's a great book, and the movie was like it looked cool, but like it doesn't really get there for what the book is.
it was too fat. Like,
you
they
know,
needed
it's
way
so
more time.
fast.
They needed way
right?
more time for
Yeah.
that.
And like, I haven't read the Ender's Game book, but I saw the movie, and like the big surprising twists seemed really predictable in the movie.
Saw it coming a mile away.
Saw going a mile away. I
You
bet in
could
the book it was pretty shocking.
It was you could see it coming, but like I mean, when I read it, I was like 13, so like I didn't see it coming. So
I could see how you could do that in a different way,
I mean,
but I definitely I feel like that movie was made for in mind people who already knew it was coming.
like I read that book when I was like 25, and I don't think I saw it coming when I read the book.
yeah, I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if you were trying to find the ending, you could find it. Like,
Sure. Yeah.
like
yeah.
it's like a trope. It's a findable trope. So like, it's possible to find. But in the book, it's a lot more. You're in this kid's mind, and like it just never comes up. And if you're not really thinking about it and just trying to enjoy the ride, like you won't.
Right.
Whereas
All right.
like in the movie, I feel it was pretty obvious.
Spielberg.
Spielberg IMDb. So, well, just let me know if you think any of these are like really good. Lincoln, which was nominated for an Academy
Yeah.
Award.
No, good movie.
I didn't
yeah.
see it.
I haven't seen it either. So, but I think it's 2012. So, if you want to say that's good, then
I think
use-
that's a good movie.
all right. We're done.
I mean,
Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
The next one is The Adventures of Tintin, which I actually liked a lot.
I
So,
like that
sure,
movie.
sure.
War Horse, which I didn't see.
Didn't see it.
That one got nominated for a bunch of stuff too, though. I think.
I'm not sure it did. Anyway, something called A Timeless Call. I don't even know what that is.
Didn't it win Best Picture? No.
Warhorse?
no.
I don't think so.
No, you're right.
Spielberg's only won Best Picture one time.
4.
Amadeus.
Schindler's List.
Schindler's List.
What about Amadeus? That was
Did he
fun.
do Amadeus?
I thought he did.
All right. I'll check.
I could have swore he did Amadeus.
That movie's awesome. That's a great movie.
I don't think he directed it.
Must be somebody else.
Um,
Obviously.
then after A Timeless Call is Indiana Jones, The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yep.
We've already.
Nigga.
Then Munich. Munich was all right.
Yeah.
War of the Worlds. That was actually pretty good.
It was
alright.
fun. I'd put. I don't know. I'd put Indiana Jones above that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man.
That movie was. I don't know.
Then it's Terminal, Catch Me If You Can, and Minority Report. So,
Terminal is okay. I like Catch Me If You Can. Catch Me If You Can a lot,
That
though.
was a good
That's a good movie.
Oh.
Catch Me If You Can is pretty good.
Yep.
So
All right.
there you go.
Sure. That's fair.
So
I
guess
think it's
Spielberg's not the.
but Ready Player One, is that 2017? Is that what it said?
I don't know.
2017? I'll be cool.
I can't imagine it coming out before 2017. They probably have like a first draft.
Who would you cast as the protagonist in Ready Player One?
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon is way too old for that.
how old is the character?
He's like.
he's
17.
he's high school age.
Yeah.
Is Shia LaBeouf too old now, or
Oh man,
Don't
don't
cast
cast
him.
Shia.
Spielberg said he was the next Tom Hanks?
Oh man,
He
I
might
don't
be
think-
too old
I don't
now.
think he's doing any movies anymore.
Shia.
No, he was in a movie with Brad Pitt that I haven't seen yet. That I got to see, just recently.
Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
What movie?
Oh, Brad Pitt's like in a tank with Shia LaBeouf.
Brad Pitt's in a tank with Shia LaBeouf.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
that war
Fury?
movie?
Yeah,
Fury, yeah.
that's it.
I don't
Yeah.
like war movies.
I haven't seen that one though. I guess.
All right, so we
Um,
still.
You really got to cast someone kind of unknown if they're going to be that
Yeah.
young.
I guess that's fair. Yeah.
Who's Spider-Man nowadays? What's his name?
Ben Affleck?
No.
No, he's Batman. Oh,
Andrew
no.
Garfield?
Andrew Garfield,
yeah,
yeah.
you could cast him. He could play young.
Could be a Jesse Eisenberg situation. I was talking to Rob earlier. Did you see the photo of Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor?
I did.
That's pretty intense, right?
Yeah.
Like kind of a surprising casting call, right?
I'm interested in these DC movies and like if they're gonna be they're building up like 18 of them in the next like couple years, and like there's been like one. It's gonna be very interesting to see how good they're gonna be.
The last Superman movie was not very good.
No.
I thought the first half, the very Christopher Nolan-y half, was pretty good. The second half, the very Zack Snyder-y half, was terrible.
The second half, which was a fight scene that lasted the entire second half of the movie.
Watching an hour of buildings collapsing.
I couldn't. Like I was sitting there watching that and I couldn't deal with it. It's like there's just dudes getting thrown through buildings for an hour.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
I can't believe they're riding their coattails of Zack Snyder because like he does not make very good movies. Like it's just not.
We were talking about Watchmen earlier.
I like Watchmen, but he's the battle movie or whatever.
The battle movie?
No, the one where they had girls in the same.
Oh,
style.
Sucker Punch.
That was fucking terrible.
I didn't see Sucker Punch.
It looks bad. The story was dumb, and then like Superman was just it didn't look great, and the story was also dumb. It just
I do not know why they've like thrown all their. They've basically given Zack Snyder the keys to the DC universe. I don't really understand.
yeah. And then he's doing Batman v Superman, which is like, can we get somebody else to do this, please?
With Batfleck.
That's the Lex Luthor one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna be. I'm
So-
super curious.
Harrison, we should recreate the conversation we had about this earlier.
Okay, I don't remember the conversation we had earlier.
Basically,
about this.
I was saying about how much I like was not looking forward to it, and you're like, "Do you think you're going to see it?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm not really looking forward to you. You're gonna see it. Yeah,
I mean, I'm probably gonna see it.
sure.
I'm just like,
I'm
I'm
actually
trying
no,
to build up my will to not see it.
It's like-
I need to take a stand.
It's
Look-
not a popular opinion, but I'm not as negative on the Ben Affleck Batman thing as a lot of people are.
I don't have any problem with him being Batman.
It could be good, you know.
I would
think-
much rather Ben Affleck direct the movie.
Yes. I will give you
sure.
that.
Yeah.
He is a good.
How
director.
about-
Like Ben Affleck being the Batman is all about how they're doing all this wrong. Like it's like, no, you have Ben Affleck, you get him to direct the movie instead of Zack Snyder. That's like the much better way to do it.
Sure, but like Ben Affleck directs it and is Batman. Is that what you mean?
No, I'm saying
Like Argo style?
like
Like-
I guess it could be Argo style. But I'm saying like I feel like everything about how they're making this movie is like a marketing person is trying to figure out how to do it, not how to make an actual good movie.
Yes, I agree that I don't think DC has any idea what they're doing
Definitely not.
because they're like doing this movie, then they're doing like Suicide Squad. You're like, who the fuck knows what Suicide Squad?
Yeah,
is?
but who the fuck knows like what Guardians of the Galaxy is, and that did
Yeah, but
so
that was
well.
their like 20th movie.
It did so
This
well
is-
though.
Their,
That is a good
third
point. Like
movie.
I heard about Guardians of the Galaxy where they're gonna make this super obscure Marvel movie with like a talking raccoon, and I was like, that's it. They've gone too far. They're like full of they're too high on their power. This is not going to work at all.
And that movie was amazing.
It was amazing.
No, they just take like, all right, hero's journey, ragtag group, save the universe, and like, you know, you pull those things together. You get the Marvel team to inject a lot of personality into these characters, and that's not; those aren't even the original people in the Guardians of the Galaxy. They like, there's a point where in like they rebooted it in 2010, and they just threw out like the original people. Like, I believe in whoever Marvel's team is because they can make good superhero movies.
So which superheroes are in the Suicide Squad?
I don't even know.
What is that?
The Suicide Squad. The things I know about the Suicide Squad have come from Arrow, which is just like there's a couple guys and they're like in jail and they all have like bombs implanted in their head, and like the government sends them to do things, and if they like screw up or try to like leave, they like get their head blown off. And,
It's like Kingman. Did you see that movie?
yeah, kind of,
Kind of like that.
kind of. But they know there's a bomb in their head.
Oh, okay.
And if they like try to run away, that you know they're just gonna die.
Man, I just tried to look at the Wikipedia article for Suicide Squad, and it is so long.
Don't do it.
It is. It's yeah. I don't think I can even.
Like, I don't think they have any idea what they're doing.
So let's pivot this from Guardians of the Galaxy to one more thing. Maybe we should wrap it up. So, great acting performance of Vin Diesel in Guardians of the Galaxy. Chris, give me a Furious 7 prediction.
Oh man, I like the Vin Diesel great acting line. That was good.
Didn't you shed a single tear at Vin Diesel's performance in Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah, when he died, it was very sad. Spoilers. That's
That's not how you do
Thanks.
that.
Spoilers for Guardians of the Galaxy. So I'm curious what they're gonna do with Paul Walker. I feel like Paul Walker and what's her face, just
Jordana Brewster.
like
Mia?
Mia.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, Mia. Thank you. They just get their house in the Bahamas or wherever they were last movie, and just they're there, and then they just move on with the series. That's my prediction.
So you don't think Paul Walker's character is going to die in that movie?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
What do you think, Harrison? What happens to Paul Walker?
Yeah, I bet that he doesn't die, but I bet that he drives off into the sunset to go do something else. I don't think he's going to settle down with Mia. I mean, I guess that they have a kid and stuff. That's not great, but
I
don't
mean,
know.
the other option maybe he goes to jail. I don't know.
could go to jail.
I feel like what they're doing with Paul Walker's character is they're just not going to do anything. It's just going to end like another Fast movie, and they're just not going to reference anything other than having in memory of Paul Walker as the first.
So
thing in the
then
credits.
what happens in Fast 8?
They just don't mention him anymore.
What do you mean?
He's just written out, just totally gone?
Yeah.
you run up,
Or
to
they're just The Rock comes to see Vin
Here's-
Diesel, and they're like, "Do we get Brian?" And they're like, "Nah, Brian's a father now," and then that's it.
Here, that could very well happen. Here's the thing that's confusing to me is all the marketing for this movie is one last ride. That's the tagline, but they have plans to make more Fast movies, right?
yeah.
So I don't really know why that's in all
Well,
the marketing.
There's two ways to look at it. One is every movie is one last ride. Because they definitely basically said the same thing before.
Sure.
Well,
They definitely say in Fast 5 this is their last job. But all the things with One Last Ride are very Paul Walker centric on the advertising. So I feel like it's Paul Walker's One Last Ride.
That's true.
yeah, I think they
which
probably.
is
arguably is not very is that okay to
It's
leverage
kind of-
someone's death
it's
as a
kind of
marketing thing? But
Kind of in poor taste especially because of the way that he died, it really was one last ride.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
they
know?
did Heath Ledger. They kind of did the same thing.
well, yeah,
with the
and
Dark
there were
Knight.
definitely people who said that was not okay. What they didn't that they advertised Heath Ledger so much for The Dark Knight.
He was so good in that movie. though.
Did
was really good.
did you guys hear that Vin Diesel named his kid after Paul Walker? Did you hear
No.
that?
No, I
Yeah,
didn't.
so I guess
Vin
they-
Diesel had a kid recently.
Yeah, so I guess that they just had a daughter and she's named Paulina after Paul
wow.
Walker. That's pretty cool.
I was just
you know?
imagining that Vin Diesel had a kid who was 8 years old and was renamed him.
Oh man, that'd be great.
That would be funny. Let me get that birth certificate back.
Do you think
We're gonna
that
change it?
Do you think that Vin Diesel is going to give the kid which model car do you think Vin Diesel's going to give the kids? Is it going to be the black Charger or is it going to be the Skyline for Paul? What do you think?
Both.
Both cars.
A combo. He's gonna get some designers to make them both into one.
That Fast and Furious Forza game is coming out on Friday. I don't know if you heard anything about that.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I just don't like racing games.
Sure, I guess. Yeah.
So my prediction I came up I was trying to figure out which character who's been in multiple movies is going to die because I feel like they've won every time, and
Paul Walker.
I'm saying it's not Paul Walker. So I've decided my prediction is the Brazilian cop who Vin Diesel was dating, we'll say, at the start of Fast 6, and who is no, I'm going to go off with The Rock now at the end of Fast 6. I bet she's going to be involved somehow and she's going to die.
I bet you it's the guy from the third one.
The guy from the third one?
The main guy from
Oh
the third
yeah,
one.
the guy from Friday Night Lights, that guy.
Yeah, that guy. Because it's after the third. It's after.
No,
the
we
third
finally
one.
caught up to the third one. That's
Yeah,
true.
so it's after the third one. So he's probably going to be in it, and I'm gonna guess that he dies in the first 10 minutes of him getting in.
All right.
Because he's not in any of the marketing at all.
Yeah, I didn't even know he was in that movie.
I don't know if he's in the movie or not. I'm
Why
just
would
saying
you-
I think he's gonna be in it.
Why would you have someone from Tokyo Drift in your marketing? That
I
doesn't
don't
make
know.
any sense.
Because he could take a large part of the movie. I don't know.
Even if he has a large part of the movie, you don't want him in the marketing. You just want to be like, it's
They
like
have
fast,
8 freaking. They have 7 faces.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they're
On
the
all
damn-
they're all
and they're all in Fast
stars.
5 and Fast 6, which are the good ones.
What if
I don't think the third one's that bad. Okay, it's fun.
what if The Rock died
I thought about
in
that.
a super heroic sort of moment in that movie?
with the minigun thing he's doing.
Oh man, yeah.
So-
it's
The thing
it's
with-
it would be it would be bad for the economics of that movie in the future if The Rock wasn't in it. So
They're not
it
doing
it probably wouldn't happen because of that. But as a thing to happen in the movie and something that would be surprising and totally out of the blue and The Rock's character in that movie is this fucking huge unbreakable tough guy. If he was defeated or something or kind of had to make a sacrifice, that could be a really cool moment in that series.
No, that's really true. The other thing is there's always rumors Robert Downey Jr. is going to leave the Avengers because he doesn't need it. There's
Yeah.
give him tons of money to keep him on board. If anyone in the Fast series doesn't need to be in that series because they have reality shows and HBO shows and a million other things going on, it's The Rock. So maybe The Rock just doesn't want to do it anymore.
Could be.
And then they're just we're going to give you just the most awesome exit we can.
The thing is, I would say that was a possibility before Paul Walker.
That's a good point.
But without Paul Walker,
They need him now.
You just have Vin Diesel, you have Ludacris, you have Luda.
Hey, don't sell Tyrese short.
It's falling apart. Yeah.
Luda and Vin, you don't have a very popular.
And they
movie
and
anymore.
Han's dead, and that other girl's dead, and then you have Michelle Rodriguez and
let's say The Rock died and they don't have Paul Walker anymore. They're definitely bringing in Channing Tatum or someone to boost the series at that point.
Yeah,
I
Just,
mean-
throwing all their money at someone marketable.
you're forgetting that Jason Statham is in this movie.
That's true. We
Is
don't
Jason
know what's.
Statham going to survive this movie?
He might. I don't know.
I hope he does.
It's a new trilogy with Jason Statham as the enemy in all of them.
Oh,
Or what
man.
if it's Fast 5 where The Rock's the bad guy and then he's on the good guy's side at the end? Maybe Jason Statham teams up with Vin Diesel in Fast 8.
Yeah. So if you kill The Rock and you keep Statham, it could happen.
It could happen.
I just don't think you can kill The Rock and then just not fill the void there.
Oh,
there's
In
a
the
void.
movie.
There's a large void that needs to be filled.
Yeah.
There already is because Paul Walker's not going to be in the next one.
That's true.
There's already a void you need to fill, and then
But
you have
the
to
thing is,
fill the
most of
Rock's
this
void?
was already scripted and filmed when they didn't know Paul Walker wasn't going to be available for
but
Fast
there was
8.
there was months of figuring out what the fuck they were going to do.
They had delayed the movie for a year.
They did delay the movie a year. That's true.
So I'm sure if The Rock was going to die, and they're like, "Sorry, man, we need you for the next one. Well, here's another 20 mil." That's what's going to happen.
I'm pretty excited to see The Rock on SNL this weekend. I think that'll be fun.
What? Why do you know who's on SNL?
Because I follow The Rock on Instagram and he tweets about it multiple times a day. Or he Instagrams about it multiple times
The
a day.
Rock is very into self promotion.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. He's going to be on SNL this weekend,
All right.
hosting.
Maybe I'll actually watch it. Maybe not.
He's
I don't know.
also going to be. Maybe this is a reality show we got to do. He's going to be in some reality show where people lip sync, and they put out a clip of him lip syncing to "Shake It Off."
It's it's that thing that Jimmy Fallon invented, but then isn't involved with the show about it, right? Something like that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I know.
I just
nothing.
saw The Rock lip syncing to "Shake It Off." That's all I know.
So
Yeah.
is this celebrities that can't sing that want to be in a singing show, or
So
I don't really know anything about this.
So have you seen those Tonight Show segments?
no?
So basically, I think that Steven Merchant, when he was on, invented the game and brought it to the show. But basically they have, Jimmy Fallon and one or two more celebrities that kind of have this lip sync off, and it's actually pretty funny and better than it sounds when I say it like that, right? I don't know. It's good. They're gigantic viral videos at this point. I'm really surprised you haven't seen them.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't watch the Tonight Show, so. I don't. All right,
Team Conan.
I guess I don't really watch the late night TV. I don't have cable, So those are a lot harder to watch. Like, they're online, but I just don't have the time. All right. So, you got any plugs there, Rob?
Find me on Twitter at RobKitz.
Harrison?
You can find me on Twitter at Harrison Hoffman.
You can find me on Twitter at the Chris Lorenz. And you can follow us on Twitter at Who Put This On. You can find us on Facebook.com/Who Put This On.
And you can send us questions.
Yes. Send us questions. Thank you. At whoputthison@gmail.com. See you guys next time.